Hey, brand builder, Rory Vaden here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this interview. As always, it's our honor to provide it to you for free. And wanted to let you know there's no big sales pitch or anything coming at the end. However, if you are someone who is looking to build and monetize your personal brand, we would love to talk to you and get to know you a little bit and hear about some of your dreams and visions and share with you a little bit about what we're up to see if we might be a fit. So if you're interested in a free strategy call with someone from our team, we would love to hear from you. You can do that at brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall, brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall. We hope to talk to you soon.
How to get paid as a speaker. Always a fun topic, something I love talking about. You may not know this, but for me, this whole entree into being an entrepreneur and being a best-selling author and personal branding, all of those things are byproducts that resulted from my initial desire and my initial vision and my initial dream, which was to be a speaker. That was something that I knew early on in high school. I saw speakers and I went to these leadership conferences, and I immediately recognized that is something I wanted to do with my life. And so this has been something this is a profession that I have pursued my entire career. Like before I was old enough to drive, like this is something that I've been studying and I've been interested in. And so I love talking about that. I love talking shop. I love talking business. And of course, what we do at Brand Builders Group has evolved to be so much more than speaking. We're doing podcasting and positioning and branding and messaging and funnels and book launches and building your sales team and high dollar offers and online marketing and traffic and all search engine optimization, like all the things that surround this and entrepreneurship in general and managing cash flows and building your sales team. But originally for me, my dream was to be a speaker. And that's what sent me on this journey. And so getting to talk to Grant Baldwin on this last interview, which was a great one. It was a great one. I've known Grant for years and years at this point. And I remember when he first started out in the speaking business and someone had introduced us just because, we were fairly young guys. And back 20 years ago, there weren't a lot of young people in the speaking business. It was always very much like like a second or third career for a lot of people. And nowadays with the explosion of personal branding, it's become something that people get into much earlier. So what I want to do today is, as always, do a recap, but today's going to be a little bit different because I'm probably not going to recap too much of what Grant shared specifically in that interview. I'm actually going to share with you some of the things that we teach at Brand Builders Group related to speaking, which are very much related to the things that came up in the conversation with Grant. But people often ask, can they coach with me? I get that question a lot. Hey, Rory, can I, would you be my coach? Would you be my mentor? And one of the things that we created is a program that's very affordable where I actually can coach people. And twice a month, I do these group coaching calls and people come on, they ask questions. They get access to all 14 of our courses as part of this program for a price that's less than the cost of what one course would cost. But it's a monthly membership program, and I teach twice a month, and we've been in a mini series at this happens to be at the same time called How to Get the Gig, and it's like an 8-part mini series. And so we've been talking a lot about this internally, just recently with our members, with our clients, with our we call them messengers, mission-driven messengers. So I'm going to grab a couple of the highlights from that and share them with you here. And the first one is something that one of my mentors, David Averin, taught me one time, which is so important. Like if you want to be a professional speaker, you have to understand this idea. And if you don't understand this idea, like until you understand this idea, like you're going to struggle in this business. I guarantee it. Like if this first idea that I'm going to share with you here, if this doesn't lock in place, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to struggle if you're trying to pursue a career in speaking. And here's what it is. And this is, basically verbatim as Dave told me. He said, Rory, Speaking is not the business. Getting the gig is this business. Speaking is not this business. Getting the gig is this business. So what he means by that, right, is like people see the stage, right, and they see a speaker and they go, wow, that would be amazing. How do I get to be that person? Like, I want to be up there inspiring people and encouraging people and adding value to the lives of so many. And yet that's the tip of the iceberg, right? That's the part you see. That's not the business, right? Like, that's not the daily life. Like, that is not the job. The job is getting the gig, getting the invitation, earning the right to be up there, putting in the research, the writing, but not just the content development, but actually the marketing and the sales and the messaging and the clarity of your own expertise, of all of those things working together to get invited onto that stage, or to, to sell your way onto that stage. And nobody understands that. They all think that just like, oh, well, I'm a good talker. I'm good in front of people. I should be a speaker. But that's not the business. Getting the opportunity to speak is the business. That's where all the hardship is. That's all the beneath the surface, the behind the scenes. And so everything we do at Brand Builders Group is about that. And that's the part that, like, nobody teaches, nobody talks about. You don't hear that often, right? You just see the speaker and you never see what it takes to get there. And so when you try to figure it out, people fail, right? There's a lot of bodies on the road to the dream of being a professional speaker, because it's not easy. Now, after 20 plus years of doing this, we figured out it is simple, and we have structured it and documented it, diagrammed it and checklisted it and templated it and frameworked it. And that's what we teach at Brand Builders Group, is the step-by-step, not just of how to be a professional speaker, although that's a big part of what we do. I can't even say it's a big part. It is a big part. It's a big part of what we do. But it's just a part of what we do in terms of helping mission-driven messengers reach more people, get more leads, make more money, through scalable revenue streams, impact more people ultimately in the world. So you got to understand this, that speaking is not the business. Getting the gig is the business. And that's from my mentor, Dave Avern. And the sooner you grasp that, the sooner you grab hold of that, the sooner you accept that, the sooner that you go, okay, I acknowledge that, the sooner you can get busy doing the work, getting the coaching, and doing the activities it takes to actually get the opportunity to be on that stage. Because the stage is a gift. The stage is a privilege, but the stage is an earned right to be there. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is very doable. And in many ways, it's guaranteed. Like, that we know the stuff that we do works because we've done it for ourselves for so long, and so many people at all different fee ranges. But that's the switch you got to flip in your head if you really want to be a speaker. It's not what you do on stage that is the business. It's what you do off stage to get the gig. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to run through here is something that we just recently put together at for our members as part of this internal mini series that we're coaching them on, which is 7 different ways you get paid for a speaking engagement. There's 7 different ways you get paid for a speaking engagement, and so even though the interview, this interview this week and what I'm talking about here has sort of been in the context of paid professional speaking, the vast majority of our 600 clients are not making full-time careers as paid speakers. They're using speaking to sell their other things, which would be information products, books, coaching courses, or coaching courses, membership sites, assessments, certifications. And there's three different audiences that we sort of serve at Brand Builders Group. The first are experts. Experts are selling their knowledge. And so we help them productize that as books, speeches, coaching programs, consulting curriculums, online courses, etc. That's one group of our audience. But a huge second group of our audience are just entrepreneurs. and they're not actually trying to productize their knowledge. They already have a service-based business or even a product-based business where we work with a lot of professional services, though. They're accountants, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're financial advisors, they're chiropractors. They are all different things. And in that case, they're just using their personal brand to drive leads to their business. And that's a great way to monetize a personal brand. It's actually faster than an expert because you already have the business. By the way, we put direct salespeople in that category of entrepreneurs as well. They already have the product and they already have a business opportunity that they can monetize. They're just using their personal brand to drive awareness for the thing that already exists. Those are entrepreneurs. And then we have a third group of people that are clients of ours that are executives. Executives aren't making money selling anything, but what they're doing is they're raising their profile in their industry and in their company so that they get promotions, they get invited to be on boards, they get to speak on panels, they get to influence and impact their industry, their trade, their profession, and they gain visibility and notoriety, which typically shows up in more salary or stock options or just recognition. Right. So we have experts, entrepreneurs, and executives that we all, generally classify as mission-driven messengers. But if you look at the second two groups of entrepreneurs and executives, they may never get paid for a speech. That's not the purpose of why they speak, even though we're going to teach them how to do this. And even experts, many experts won't get paid for their speech itself. They're going to get paid in one of these other 7 ways. So let's run through these. The 7 ways to get paid for a speaking engagement. Number 1 is a speaking fee, obviously. But believe it or not, that is the least most common way to get paid for a speaking engagement. That's the least most common way. So if you can get that, great, because here's the thing, the best thing is when you get the best of both worlds, where you get a fee and you get all of these other 6 things, which we're gonna talk about. So, but that's the least most common, even inside of our own community, which are people who are saying, yeah, I want to get my message out to the world. I mean, we have some of the highest paid speakers in the world that are clients of ours, like literally the highest paid speakers in the world. We have clients of ours, multiple clients who make over $70,000 a speech. We've got, several clients that make, more than $30,000 a speech. And then a whole bunch that are in the 10 to 15. And then there's a whole bunch that are under 10 or free, which would be the largest percentage of our clients. Why? Because of the other 6 ways you get paid to speak. So the second one is leads. You get paid in leads. This is where I was saying that second classification of people that we work with, which are entrepreneurs, they're not trying to get paid to speak. They're also not trying to sell a book or a course at the end of their speech. The reason they're speaking, whether it is on a webinar or a podcast or on YouTube or live on social, the reason they're speaking is to drive leads to their business. They're trying to drive leads to the whatever the widget is or the service that they already have to sell. They're not creating a new one. And that is every one of our customers in those first 2 categories, experts and entrepreneurs, are driving leads to whatever it is their business is, even if it's recruiting. It might be recruiting employees or recruiting team members. Certainly, if you're in direct sales, that's a huge thing, is we teach you how to use your personal brand to drive leads. That's the second way you get paid to speak. The third way you get paid to speak is you get paid from customers that you generate on site at the back of the room. So this is selling a book or selling a course on site. So at the end of your speech, this is how Rory Vaden earned his first speaking fees. I would speak for free, and then I would sell a $20 self-published book at the back of the room. And I quickly figured out that it was a lot more work to create books that I could only sell for $20 than it was to sell a ticket to a half-day training with me, which I could sell for $100 or $200. And so I quickly moved to selling tickets to other trainings. And then we started our first company, and that's how we did it. We used to speak for free and sell tickets. and then we figured out we could speak for free, and we didn't even have to sell a one-day ticket. We could just sell right into a coaching program. And that was the business model that we used to create an 8-figure business, more than $10 million a year in revenue from this one business model, speaking for free to very small groups of like 3 to 10 people, and then selling our coaching program at the end. Anybody can do this. Speaking is incredible. It is absolutely phenomenal. And that's the third way you get paid. Fourth way you get paid, video footage. Video footage. There were times early in my career where I would take gigs for free or highly discounted just because I needed the video footage. The reason is because the number one reason you get hired to speak is because somebody has seen you speak. That's always the number one way you get business. But the number two way is that you have great video footage where people can watch you on stage. Well, it's a chicken and the egg thing, because it's like, well, how do I get invited on stages when I don't have a video of me on stage to get on the stage? And the answer is you go speak for free to get the video footage, and then you take the video footage and you use it to then get more paid engagements. And inside of Brand Builders Group, we have an amazing partner that we use who also does events where they are on a $500,000 stage with full LED lighting, 6 cameras, a live audience of a few hundred people, and you can actually pay to get 20 minutes on that stage, and then you have a video from it. By the way, if you want, even if you're not a member of ours, you can check out that partner. It's if you go to brandbuildersgroup.com/brand amplifiers. Go to brandbuildersgroup.com/brand amplifiers. You can check out our partner that does that. But if you don't have a lot of money, that costs some money. It's very reasonable. It's an incredible program. And in fact, we're gonna bring our partner onto the podcast probably and talk more about that. But like it still costs some money, right? But so the other thing is go speak for free or speak for discount just to get the video footage of being on really nice stages. Fifth way you get paid to speak, testimonials. Testimonials are huge. And I'll never forget when Joe Calloway was a friend of mine, and I would say a mentor. He was a Hall of Fame speaker, and Joe, we were talking about speakers bureaus one time, and I asked him, Joe, when's the right time to contact a speakers bureau? Like, when am I ready to work with a speakers bureau? And there were two things that you hear a lot in this world about speakers bureaus, and we love speakers bureaus. We haven't traditionally worked with a ton of them because the idea with speakers bureaus is you don't need them until they don't need you. Or wait, how's that go? Yeah, you only need them when they don't need you or they don't want you. And then by the time they want you, you don't need them anymore. Meaning that when you first start out and you need someone to promote you, they're not going to promote you because no one knows who you are. And it's a lot of work to sell you for a very low fee. And so they don't make any money. And so it's like, why would they do all the extra work and not make very much money? So they're not really there in the beginning. And then, so you build up your own career. And so then you get to where you're making a lot of money. You got a lot of people asking for you, and that's when bureaus want you because now their clients are asking for you, but you kind of don't need them because their clients are asking for you because you've done a good job of building yourself up. So there's great relationships you have with bureaus, and they can be a great thing, a really great thing. And several of our friends, our clients use them and work with them, and we do work with a couple bureaus. But anyways, I asked Joe Calloway, when's the right time to approach a speakers bureau? And he said, when you can send them a killer demo video and a stack of 100 testimonial letters. That was his answer. When's the right time to speak? When is the right time to contact a speakers bureau? When you can send them a killer demo video and 100 testimonial letters. And I thought that was really, really good. And Joe worked with a lot of bureaus during his career, was extremely successful. And so you need testimonials. Now, whether it's working with speakers bureaus or not, if a client's going to hire you to speak, they need testimonials. And our personal brand national research study showed this is the number one criteria of people who will hire you is they want testimonials from other customers. So consider that a form of compensation, and we would write it into our contract. If someone didn't have our fee, then we negotiated. We said, well, look, we want a testimonial letter. Now, sometimes we get it anyways, which is great. But if we're doing it as a discount, we're going to negotiate that into the contract specifically to say, we want video footage. We want a chance to make an offer at the end of the, at the back of the room. We want testimonials, which leads to number 6, which is referrals and introductions. The other way you get paid to speak, number 6, is by referrals to other people. And so again, hopefully this happens always. In our pressure-free persuasion course, which is one of our phase 3 courses on sales, one-on-one sales, we teach scripts for how to ask for referrals. Well, the better job you do as a speaker, the more likely you are to get referrals if you do it and you know how to do it. So that's a form of payment, right? You're getting another gig out of the gig that you got. And again, sometimes we will put into a contract, or not so much these days, but when we first started out, we would say, look, if we come do this for a discount, we want 3 legitimate introductions to other people who run meetings. You don't have to guarantee that they're going to hire us, but a legitimate handheld, like white glove email introduction. Now, when we're chasing down speaking gigs, we do that anyways. That's all part of pressure-free persuasion, but that's a way you get paid. And then the 7th way, which people don't do that much anymore these days, but you should, because this back in like the 70s and the 80s, the 60s, 70s, 80s of the heyday of speaking, like people used to do this all the time, which is barter. You can barter things. AJ once bartered a couch. We have bartered 2 couches and an entire custom closet from one company that was one of our past clients. And they were very expensive. I'm talking about like each piece is tens of thousands of dollars. We would never buy, no matter how much money we had, but they were beautiful, and AJ loved them, and she bartered speaking fees for them. So you can barter things. Why? Because it only costs them wholesale, but it's worth retail value to you because you would have to pay for that. But you can also barter for travel, right? Give me, let my spouse come with me, or my kids come with me, or I want extra hotel stays if it's in a really cool place, or I want you to upgrade me to a nicer suite. A lot of these clients already have to fill a certain number of room nights anyways, so they might as well use that as an incentive to help get you. And there you go. 7 ways to get paid for a speaking engagement. And then finally, the 3rd takeaway from today is the one I want to leave you with, which is kind of a tie back to the first one, that speaking is not the business, getting the gig is the business, but follow-up is the key. Follow-up is the key. Follow-up is the discipline of this whole business. AJ has always said, one of the things I've learned from AJ is she always says, there's no such thing as a no. It's never a no. There are only, it's not right now. There's no such thing as a no. There's only such a thing as a not right now. And what she means by that is sooner or later, everybody is going to buy, especially in the speaking business. Because if they have an event they're putting on every year, they need speakers every single year. And so they might not book you this year or next year or the year after, but if you follow up and you're nice and you build a relationship and your career is growing and you're improving and you're doing all the things we teach at Brand Builders Group, sooner or later, they're going to go, you know what? Let's do it. Let's have you. And so follow-up is the game. Like, the follow-up is the discipline. You got to be willing to do the work of staying in touch with people. So there you go. 3 great takeaways, 7 ways to get paid for a speaking engagement. These are just a couple tips, right? Whatever I've shared here, 10, 15 minutes of, more than 7 hours of training that we have done, because we've done 7 or 8 calls in our little internal training. So this is the kind of stuff that we teach inside of Brand Builders Group. I wanted to give you a chance to get a little sample of that. But right here on the podcast, we're so grateful that you're here. Hope you're enjoying the show. Share this with somebody who's trying to start a speaking career, or somebody who is interested in speaking, or somebody who just wants to get out there and speak, or could or should speak to drive more leads to their business, even if they're not paid. And if that person is you, please make sure that you request a call with our team at freebrandcall.com/podcast, and let's talk. Other than that, we'll catch you next time on the Influential Personal Brand Podcast.